Were you disappointed at the turnout, Jess?
I actually thought when the debate started that there was quite a lot of people in there. There were, and I did say that it shouldn't be party political, and I stand by that, but there were more people on my side than on the other side. It was my son's ninth birthday yesterday, and I was meant to not come in, and I came in just to go to that debate, so more people should have turned up.
There have been reports that as some of the male MPs were filing in, they were still, and you know, they're going over the precipice now, they were still cracking gags and joking and talking about witch hunts. Is that true?
Yeah, well, I mean, when I spoke in the Commons, I said that as I'd arrived in Westminster, I'd heard two male colleagues saying, oh, well, I mean, it wasn't so much they were cracking gags, they were sort of in disgust that this was a witch hunt. And that's not OK, as far as I'm concerned.
Bernard Jenkins, have you heard people say that? Because I understand, you know, there are particularly men who think, well, where does this end? You know, if people are having to apologise for putting their hand on the knee of a woman who says, actually, it didn't bother me, and I was able to speak up and say, don't do that, are there people concerned that actually lots of different forms of behaviour are being included which are not actually harassment and abuse?
This goes to the crux of why this isn't working. This is the House of Commons Code of Conduct. Because I think a lot of people fear that it's going to become very intrusive and very judgmental. And, I mean, there's a line in here that one of the rules is you shouldn't bring the House of Commons into disrepute. Well, clearly, some of what's been going on is dreadful for the reputation of members of Parliament in the House of Commons. But there's no way that the Commissioner for Standards can actually deal with that because people feel very... I mean, you know, we're not concerned about the normal relationships between men and women and the fact that family relationships go wrong and things happen in people's marriages. This is not about being judgmental.
You mean you don't care about people's affairs? You know, if someone's having an extramarital affair, that's not what you're worried about.
This is where the confusion lies. Where is the boundary? If you're in public life and your personal life goes wrong and you don't handle it well, as many people don't, well, then you're going to get pilloried in the press. Now, where is the support system for people in public life? Can I just make this point?
Yes, go on.
There is zero professional development for MPs as employers. There is absolutely no counselling and support for people who are in trouble. You paddle your own canoe in politics.
And do you mean the women who are making these complaints have no support?
Well, dare I speak up for the men? I mean, there are men...
Really?
There are men who are bullied.
Well, of course you should be speaking up for them.
Look, I'm not talking, you know, obviously groping, predatory sexual behaviour, aggressive sexual behaviour. That's completely out. But at the moment, the system is so paralysed. Even if a woman goes to the Parliamentary Commissioner for Standards and says, "I have been assaulted," if that person's employed in a Member of Parliament's office, she says, my hands are tied, I can't do anything about it. So clearly this is not working.
The problem for you guys is, I'm talking about the whole of the House of Commons, is that you're now indelibly associated, and even the good guys, with sleaze. You had the expenses scandal, which nobody's forgotten, which destroyed faith in the parliamentary system, actually. It destroyed faith in MPs as people. And now we can see, and the list is so long, most of the behaviour is not actually illegal, but it's sleazy beyond belief. Sleaze again, our leaders, the people who pass laws, telling us what to do, telling us how to behave and how to think. They're awful. They're an awful rabble.
I have to say, as I wasn't there during the expenses scandal, so I have no idea what happened, and I'm fairly certain my name won't be appearing on any groping list. But the fact of the matter is that there is a minority of poor behaviour and...
Big minority.
And... It gives politics a terribly bad name, and that's not necessarily even that bad for these people who are on these lists or who fiddled their expenses, because people carry on with impunity in that place. What it is bad for is politics. When people don't trust the people who are there to represent them, we have a rot in the system, and actually you can see that rot bubbling up all the time with aggression on the streets.
We wouldn't be having this conversation. These stories wouldn't be out there now if it wasn't for Harvey Weinstein. If it wasn't for what happened in Hollywood and how that broke 2 weeks ago, we would not be having this conversation. So I'll put it to you both, actually, that you both must have known about individuals, their behaviour, the fact that they were assaulting, groping, mocking, degrading women But you didn't do anything about it. And I'm not just levelling at the two of you, but you just didn't do anything about it. And you're on the Women's Equality Committee.
But I did do something about it. I actually didn't know in any of these stories that are in the individual story. Okay. Actually, I knew 2 of them, and they're the ones that aren't. There's nothing wrong with them. I did know that there was a problem in the culture of Westminster. I do know that there was a case of alleged rape in Parliament, and ever...
Well, actually in the Palace of Westminster?
Yeah, I mean, that's been widely publicised. It wasn't anything to do with a Member of Parliament. And actually, I am on the Speaker's reference group to improve Parliament and make it more equal and more family-friendly. I have had meetings with the head of security at Parliament. I have had endless meetings within my own political party.
And do you get the accountability that you are demanding? I mean, what kind of responses do you get?
It's slow, but it is moving. In both my political party, I can't speak for other political parties, and within Parliament, it is slow progress, but definitely, we've started to make change.
Well, can I just chip in on this point?
Keep it brief, please.
One of the reasons why I'm sitting here is because my committee has submitted evidence to the review of the code, because anybody knows it's not working. And so, yes, we have been pushing at this. We're not asleep at the wheel. But, yes, you're quite right. There's a whole lot of things coming up in lots of other industries and lots of other walks of life because of the Harvey Weinstein.
One more question about yesterday. Are you amongst the MPs who've seen this video of the three politicians engaging in an awful sex act?
No.
You haven't seen it? Because it's been apparently going around Westminster like wildfire.
I haven't seen it. But the point about this is... it may be activity between completely consenting adults, completely legal, perfectly all right. But if you're in public life, you can't do this sort of thing.
Absolutely.
And but where is the support system for taking somebody aside and saying, look, you can't do this. You need some help and support. Either you shouldn't be in public life if you're going to carry on like that, or you need to reform your behaviour. But there is absolutely none of that conversation. Here are the principles of public life, the 7 principles of public life: integrity, honesty, openness.
I think I know not to make smutty videos.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Being told.
No, you do, but you know.
I know not to put my hands on my female colleagues.
Yes,
I understand that.
Yes, but that's where the conversation doesn't happen.
OK, thank you both very much indeed. It's a sticky wicket you're all batting on at the moment, isn't it?
So we've got to keep fighting.
Briefly before you go, what do you think should happen to the Defence Secretary? I mean, he's all over the front of the papers this morning.
I think that unfortunately, what I worry about is that this is the tip of the iceberg of what might be coming out. I think it needs to be looked into. I think that it's 15 years ago, and he was told at the time to stop it, and he stopped it. So we've got to be really, really careful. I get that. I think that Stephen Crabb is walking around with his job, and he shouldn't be.
What about Mark Garnier, the guy who got his...
Again, I think it needs to be investigated to make sure that I don't know how the people felt at the time. I would feel incredibly uncomfortable.
OK.